The neuroscience concept I've chosen for the project is mirror neurons. I was inspired by 3 concepts I had in mind during the time of creation. 2 Vocaloid songs expressing self-empathy and connectivity towards oneself and other people as well. And that is Deep Sea Girl and Monochrome Blue Sky, as well as a cover design based on Michael Jackson's posthumous album Escape. I've also created direct brushwork of the moon phases, that is the waning crescent, all the way to the full moon. And also the goldfishes that you see swimming around me. The moon phases happens to represent growth and manifestation of individuality, as well as the goldfishes representing not just good fortune, but also a new beginning. I've also used the Cinetic Superimpose to represent myself as turning over a new leaf, with my past self acting as a portal for my current and present self to emerge through. The biggest challenge I had is the goldfish swimming around me, as I wasn't detailed around that time. So I settled on creating a silhouette version using the bouquet brush to represent the fishes in spirit form. My biggest takeaway is that I wanted to create artwork that helped inspire other generations. What I've learned about my own brain is how, despite the challenges I faced upon creating art, I have also managed to find alternative solutions to problems. The entire connectivity between empathy and art has greatly resonated with me, an experience that I will never forget. What I learned about kindness and empathy is not just being able to have a shoulder lean upon for others to vent and express their innermost emotions, but practicing it beforehand helps connect others to help reach others and motivate them.
The neuroscience concept I chose is connectivity. I went with a more nuanced route and chose to focus on connecting with yourself instead of others. People often forget to be kind to themselves, especially when pushing themselves out of their comfort zones. I overlaid my own image of the very first concert I went to over the figure's hair, as well as superimposing the whole image onto the canvas. I also chose the symbolized synectic for this piece as well. The koi fish swimming around the figure's head symbolize strength and accomplishment. The koi fish act as a sort of visual representation of the kindness one must give themselves when they push themselves out of their comfort zones and to make connections and communicate with others. I chose this photo because going to a concert forced me out of my comfort zone, as I'm quite the introvert and large crowds tend to overwhelm me a lot. It turned out to be a very fond memory of mine, and I'm very proud of myself that I went.
The neuroscience concept I chose was mirror neurons and empathy. The synectic concepts I used was superimposing and overlapping elements because I wanted to create different perspectives on my self-portrait. I wanted everything to be blended in, and just so that it can visually represent like physical and abstract details. So for example, like blending the clouds and the blue. I also added a chrome filter on my face. I incorporated a broken mirror. That's kind of like shattering. I wanted it to be like my face. That's like the chrome, unfazed mirror that was transformed into something else. Those scattered fragments toward my face symbolize the idea of mirror neurons, that when it's disrupted or broken, it can affect our comprehension to understand other people's intentions. So mirror neurons, essentially, the broken ones, can impair the reflection. Essentially, the concept of mirror neurons and empathy was so fascinating because it just plays a crucial role in understanding other people's intentions. And during these days, we need to have a lot of empathy towards people.
The neuroscience concept I chose is the parasympathetic nervous system. I like that the parasympathetic nervous system focuses on relaxation and recovery. I incorporated this concept into my artwork by focusing on how mindfulness and kindness towards ourselves is how we grow. The synectics I used are metamorphose and symbolize, seen through much of the nature imagery. Birds have always inspired me as symbols of transformation and new beginnings. They take flight and circle the figure that seems to be awaiting to hatch. The panels of flowers in different stages of bloom represent growth. The flower thrives because it has been nurtured and cared for. The background features woven fabric with earthy tones that serves to ground the artwork. It was interesting learning about neuroscience concepts for this assignment. By understanding how our brains and bodies react to specific stimuli, we are better equipped to be kinder and more understanding of ourselves. Practicing self-kindness is a lesson that I'm continually learning for myself, and its importance has been cemented for me through working on this project. I will take what I've learned here with neuroscience concepts and synectics with me as I continue to create artwork.
For this project, I decided to select mirror neurons, as they're the brain cells that enable humans to mirror the emotions and actions of others. They create a neural basis for empathy. I wanted to take the idea of mirroring something literally. So for my first photograph, I chose a photo of myself looking into a mirror. The synectic approach that I chose was superimpose, and I applied this throughout the project by overlapping dissimilar images and contrasting colors throughout the composition. This contrast between the black and white interior and the colorful exterior can symbolize the difference in perspective between the observer and the observed. Essentially, it suggests that we often see the world in different ways, but empathy allows us to bridge that gap. Empathy is like stepping into another person's shoes, and the contrast can symbolize that transition from one's own world to understanding someone else's. The mirror itself could symbolize the bridge between two worlds, highlighting the role of empathy in creating a connection between people who may seem very different at first glance. In a black and white world, details and nuances are often lost. By contrasting this with the colorful exterior, composition can illustrate how empathy allows us to see beyond the surface, understanding that vibrant aspects of another person's life that might not immediately be apparent.
I chose connectivity. Along with my neuroscience concept, I incorporated superimposing as my synthetic. For my thought process, I instantly thought of making a piece based on my college experiences, and I wanted to exemplify how kindness can be shown in simple actions, like my friend saving a bird, or sharing ice cream with a friend, or even a friend bringing me dinner when they knew that I was busy with work. To show these instances of kindness that I've experienced, I picked a few photos from my first semester of college and I collaged them onto my piece. As for the style, I tried to draw fun graffiti-esque graphics to represent this time in my life of youth and freedom. Some challenges I faced while making this piece was creating a well-balanced composition, so I used the graphics that I drew to keep harmony and balance within it. I added a balance scale in the background as a gentle reminder to the more hidden cons of too much kindness. When imbalanced, it can be improperly given or taken. Acts of kindness don't need to be grand, and the little actions like this can show just as much kindness and empathy and really enhance relationships in general. Because of the friends I've made, I feel I've learned that relationships like this can really blossom under such positive circumstances and improve one's health and well-being.